Hello, welcome back to the New Hampshire Woodshop. Well, today I'd like to take a few minutes and go over sharpening scrapers. I have a couple of tiger maple Sheraton side tables that I'm building, and they're made out of tiger maple, as I mentioned, and I sent it through my sander, and so I got all these straight scratches in there, and I want to get all that out. Also, the scraper imparts a nice handwork texture to the wood, as well as accentuating the figure in the wood. So, scrapers is where it's at. So what I thought I'd do, I'll bring you in, get you close, and we'll just go over how I go about sharpening. Alright? Okay, the very first thing you want to get is a burnishing tool. This is one I bought years ago, but you could use a drill bit, 3/8, ½ inch, 1/4 inch, whatever you have. All it requires is that it's harder than the steel of the scraper. All right, so that's all there is to it. Now, this one's been used when you get your brand new scraper. You'll skip this first step, but right now I have a bit of a burr. It's worn out on all my edges here, and I want to turn those, get those down. So just by taking my scraper and lightly pushing and run it across like that, I'm getting rid of that burr. I'm at least pushing it over this way. Okay. Then it doesn't take a lot of pressure to do this. Alright, that's it. Now what we need to do, and this is when you get your brand new scraper, it is nowhere near sharp. You have to work it like a chisel. All right. People tend to think that they can just go right to using it, and then they're all disappointed and they say this stuff's junk. But that's not the case. You have to sharpen it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab a sanding block, and I'm going to start. Put it in my vise here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start polishing the faces. Now this is 400 grit sandpaper I've got here, and it's not polishing, but I've got to get the factory scratches out and whatever little other scratches. It ought to be pretty close to just like I mentioned earlier, a chisel. You want polished, two polished surfaces coming together on a chisel, and this is pretty close to being the same thing. Generally, I do this face and then this face. I do all four, but for the sake of time and all that, I won't bother with all that. Okay, there you go. That's up to 600, and then we'll move. I use diamond paste for most of my sharpening. This is 20 micron, and it actually, going from 600 grit to this actually works. So this 20 micron is pretty rough. Okay, getting there. It's pretty nice. Whoops. Sorry about that. Okay, here's 7 microns. Here, I got to talking too much and I forgot a step. We'll go back. Okay, I think that's as polished as we really need to get on this. But what I forgot was this edge right here. I gotta flatten that and get whatever nicks that might be in it out. Simple, just 90 degrees. Oh, that was the wrong edge. Here's my right edge. I like to run my fingernail along it just because if I have any nicks in there, I'll feel it with my fingernail. Nothing. Looks good. All right, let's go back to the diamond paste. Alright. Okay, now we'll put that away. Now we're ready to sharpen it. I like to use grease on the burnishing tool. This allows it to slide without digging and tearing the metal. First thing, so we need to move this bit of metal right here over this way. It's on a microscopic level, but you're just trying pushing metal towards the center of the thickness of the scraper. I'm holding it at a slight angle and putting moderate pressure down. Alright, once that's done, put it on edge. Now what you have, now what you have is the edge like this. Now we're going to need to roll them over and make a hook like that. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come off level or 90 degrees to the face here, and I'm going to press down lightly at a skewed angle. Okay, and as I go along now, I'm going to start turning it at a slight angle this way. And then I'll go back and do it the other way. Alright. Feel a slight burr on the edge. That's what we're looking for. We don't need a big old massive burr. But tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the camera, get my vise back in working order, and then we'll test it out. Alright? So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we got my vise in back to working order again. So let's go ahead and give this scraper a try. I like the feel of my burr, and that's what we're looking for in the way of shavings. Actual thin, very, very thin shaving that holds together. You don't want dust. You want actual shaving, and you can actually hear it working. The difference between a sharp, you can actually hear the difference between a sharp scraper and a dull one. The sharp scraper actually sounds like it's working. Yeah. All right. The way you use a scraper, I've seen people try and do this. It doesn't work. What you need to do is you need to get your thumbs, you need to hold it on the sides and use your thumbs in the center, flexing it, just a slight flex, just like that. That gives it just a little bit of an arch and a way to dig in. Yep, just like that. You also, depending on the hook, what degree of that hook is, depends on how you're going to, at what angle you're going to hold it towards the board that you're working on. You know, you might be up more vertical, or you might be way over. Those are not ideal. Those two options are not ideal. But somewhere in the middle, about right here, is where you want to be. That's ideal. However, I've also seen people trying to use it at an angle they think is appropriate, and it's not cutting because they're not at the right angle. So anyway, a little bit of advice there. So I believe that's it. Oh, the thing about when you know that you're dull is when you're getting a lot of dust. You don't want dust. You want shavings, no dust. When that starts happening, all you have to do is, you don't need to polish it every time like we did this one. You know, if you did that and it starts to get dull again, just grab your burnisher, turn a new burr. Quite often that will be good enough. Sometimes you'll just turn this burr over, take it to the your sharpening system, polish just the edge, that'll be enough, and then turn a new burr. But you don't always have to polish the face. I find I do that probably once every 10 times. I don't even know if I need to do it that often, but I do it because why not? So anyway, that's that. I can't think of anything else. I highly recommend getting yourself a scraper if you don't already have one. If you do have one, I highly recommend you using it, sharpen it up, and you will be very happy and glad that you did. All right, so I will see you next time on the New Hampshire Woodshop. If you enjoyed the video, give it a likes up or a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, what are you waiting for? You're missing all this good stuff. If you subscribe, it'll give you updates and all that stuff when I have a new video. Anyway, all right, thanks a lot. I will see you next time. Bye now.